So hello guys, so today we are talking about comparison and why we should not compare ourselves to others and why we can break out of this cycle, and it is definitely possible. So we're going to get into it. So I have always struggled with comparison. I have a lot of childhood trauma, and I have a lot of trauma that I try to compare, like why I am, like I'm 23 and I have 3 kids, and I compare myself with somebody who doesn't have 3 kids and didn't grow up the way I did and had both parents and grew up in a very loving home. Not saying that my mom didn't love me or that my parents didn't love me, but just saying that I grew up with a lot of childhood trauma. So I always compare myself to, we'll just call her Susan, always Susan, because Susan has this, or I compare myself to people even younger my age because I worked in food service or worked with a lot of teenagers. I would compare my life at their point in time to my point in time and be like, well, they're so much farther ahead of me. Well, what you got to understand is your life and your childhood has a lot to do with what you do. And me comparing them does me no good. The only way that my life is going to get any better is not by comparison. It's going to be by putting the necessary steps, praying to God, making necessary healthy steps towards who I want to be and what I want my future to look like, even as this. Like, a lot of it is accepting my reality. This is what my life was like, but it doesn't always have to be
Theodore Roosevelt said this, that comparison is the thief of joy, and
that's totally true, because once I started, like recently, I still struggle with it on a daily. Recently, I started filming YouTube videos. I absolutely love editing video. I wanted to be an actress as a kid. I started doing things for me. I started being present with my kids more. Like, I started playing games with them. I started teaching them about God. Like, I started teaching them about my faith, and I have had so much. There was a few weeks that I had a lot of contentment, and I was very content in the way that I was, and I stopped being bitter towards other people and being like comparing myself, and I stopped being bitter towards the people that I wanted to be like, because I was finally happy. A lot of that had to do with, I left a job. I went on medical leave from a job and kind of left it because physically and mentally it was draining, and it was draining my body. But what I'm saying is, in turn for that, you should never compare yourself to someone else, because God created you uniquely. He created you with unique gifts, and your life is never going to be like someone else's. Even if you compare it or you try to copy them completely, your life will never be down to the detail just like them. You were made for you. You have a unique purpose God gave you, and God needs you in the world, and He made you for that unique purpose, and not Sally can't feel that, only you can feel that. So just remember that, guys. And this is episode 3 of my podcast. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I will see you guys later. Thank you, guys.